We got an inflation report that was a little bit surprising yesterday, but not so surprising. We got something called Consumer Price Index. Consumer Price Index showed that prices aren't going up as much as people thought. But you see, the day before, we got the Producer Price Index. That's wholesale prices. And typically, it is my experience that wholesale prices go up first. And then eventually they trickle into consumer prices. If the consumer can pay it, then the person who's making the good or the widget will charge it, right? So if you have a local restaurant and they're paying that much more for eggs, which they are, eventually that cost gets hit to the consumer level, right? Menu prices go up. And so there's a lag indicator. So I'm not like necessarily buying this. And I also think, even in best case scenario, if the Fed were saying, okay, well, we think inflation is under control, I think they're wrong. I don't think inflation is under control. I don't think they should be believing the best case scenario. And I think it's going to be problematic for whoever is president next time around as well. I mean, and I'm not alone in this. My friend Kevin O'Leary, you know him from Shark Tank. He said exactly this just the other day. I want you to take a listen.
It guarantees that, in my opinion, the Fed will not will not lower rates at all for the rest of this year. And that's not what you want if you're the incumbent. Politically, it looks like this happened because inflation data, you can be 2020 in terms of looking backwards. We poured a lot of money in the economy during the pandemic, and that turned out to be the right thing to do to avoid a depression. But then we kept going. We probably put around $2 trillion too much in. Inflation Reduction Act did not reduce inflation. In fact, it's inflationary, as you can see by these numbers. This is a nasty report.
Yeah. Okay. So in other words, we still have a lot of inflation out there. And if the Federal Reserve decides to cut interest rates like they want to do, then you're going to get more inflation, guys. More and more inflation. Listen, it's really hard to invest in this environment. It's one of the reasons why, because I get asked this question all the time. What do I buy? What do I buy? I mean, you know that, obviously I like gold, but that's just one part of a diversified portfolio. And so I encourage you to go to 76 Research, 76research.com. Go there today. I started this with my dear friend, longtime friend, Rob Horton, who has had a legendary career on Wall Street, couple of decades. He's a stock picker. I'm very much, macro. And I tend to spot these things and I tend to call these trends. I mean, one of them was AI and what I like to call the metaverse until Facebook took that term meta. But we're going into major changes from a technological perspective. I mean, think of what I'm just doing right here with you right now, right? Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Go to 76research.com. Look at the growth, American Resilience Portfolio. If you're a believer in all the major changes that are coming, if you're concerned about having income in your retirement, you want to go and check out the Income Builder Portfolio. And if you're worried about inflation, which you should be, of course, and you still want to have income in your retirement, then go and look at not just the Income Builder, but also the Inflation Protection Portfolio. We have all of these portfolios there. We have the 76 report for you as well. You can go to 76report.com. You can go to 76research.com. Subscribe. You know what? It's going to be the best $9.99 you ever spent because there's stock picks in there. There's ideas. There's ways for you to think about all of this. In terms of the model portfolios, those are a little more pricey, but you get 10 to 15 stock picks and we tend to be pretty good. I don't want to toot the horn too much, but we know what we're doing. And I've been on the front lines of this, I'll tell you, my entire career from the media perspective. So I see through some of the BS that's out there. And Rob has been on the front lines from an investing perspective, which is a tremendous track record. So go check it out, 76research.com.